the Japan reporter. Let's see what he got to say about Gen Z and how they feel about foreigners.
I recently started to teach soccer to college boys and girls who just got the right to vote, so I've been having a lot of political conversation with people in those age groups for these 5 months. And I noticed this is what they often say emotionally, which doesn't seem to make sense though, as foreign population only accounts for 3% in this country.
Yeah, I've personally noticed, I think it's an overreaction.
I think it's just overreacting. Because it's not like foreign people are overtaking Japan.
About 3%. So if you think that 3% is dominating the rest of the 97 Japanese population.
Yeah, but the problem is that 3% is growing considerably though. And also the native Japanese population is not having children. That's a fucking problem too. So eventually in a couple of years, that 3% is going to become a 5%, 5 is going to be 7%, 7 to 10%. And the 97% of the population is going to keep dropping to like 94, 93, 90%. That's the problem that they're probably having right there. That's what they're getting at.
I don't think that's a very fair judgment.
Other foreign residents also claim that it's definitely not too many compared to other countries, and most of them follow the laws, sometimes more than Japanese.
I'll be honest with you, he is right about that. They're only 3%. It's not like other countries like in fucking Europe, like Western Europe, they're getting some fucking heavy ass fucking immigration from other countries. And I think it's the same thing that they're getting here. They're getting people who don't really contribute that much. You know? It's worse in Europe, but here it's like 50-50.
People because they don't risk getting deported, and they surely contribute in many ways. But from Gen Z's perspective right now, they might not see that way, and this could be one of the reasons why they say we have too many foreigners. Actually, some of the universities in Tokyo are already dominated by foreign students.
なんか留学生とかなんていうの優先されるんじゃなくて、みんなが平等の方。
Let me read that.
Students.
なんか留学生
You know, foreign students
とかなんていうの優先さ
are kind of being prioritized over Japanese. Oh, bro, they got the same fucking problems we got here in the States, bro, and in the countries of Western Europe, aka they prioritize foreigners instead of their own fucking people. Yep, Japan got the same fucking problem, bro. Here in America, we prioritize illegal aliens more than American citizens. In Europe, they prioritize migrants more than fucking their own EU citizens. Well, Japan's in good company.
れるんじゃなくて、みんなが平等の方がいいかなって思います。
Experts I talked to point out.
Should it be fair? Hold on.
なんていうの優先されるんじゃなくて、みんなが平等。
I think it should be fair for both. If they came there legally, 100% it should be fair. 100% it should be fair. Best credentials wins.
の方がいいかなって思います。
Experts I talked to point out two major issues. This is especially true in a high-ranking university or college, and this could be reducing the quality of Japanese college or discouraging Japanese people from entering there.
少子化になってきていて、大学ももう生き残るのに本当に大変だと思うんですよね。やっぱり留学生を入れないと定員に達しないというような。
Yeah, like I mentioned before, Japan is going through a fucking birth rate crisis, just like Western Europe and just like America, the United States, excuse me, and Canada as well. It's not as bad as South Korea is also going through the same shit as they are. Yeah, they're declining birth rates. They're not having babies. You know?
ことが正直ある。私も実際にいろいろな大学で講義をさせていただくこと結構あるんですけど、やっぱり外国の学生で全然日本語がわからない学生ってやっぱいるんですよね。で、日本の大学の機関としてはいかがなものかと思いますし、もちろん大学に行きたいけど、留学生がたくさん入ってしまったがために落ちてしまった学生からすると、
Ugh, there are too many foreigners here. Way too many gaijins and gokujins here, bro. We gotta get rid of them, man. We can't stand them. このバカgaijin.
そういうような気持ちはわかりますね。外国の学生がたくさん今入ってきている中で、この日本人ファーストっていう意味
I can see why the Japanese first resonate with Gen Z. Yeah, it's very reminiscent to what's going on in America with Donald Trump's slogan, America first. They want Japan first. And instead of boomers in Japan, it's the Gen Z, it's the young generation, which is wild. Because typically it'll be like old people saying this, like America first type or Japan first type of shit. But it's the younger generation. You know you have a problem with the young ones are saying like, hey, we want us to be first instead of these foreigners. You know you have a problem in their country if that happens.
もわからなくはないなと。
Half of them struggle to make ends meet, as their student debts only keep growing, so I see many of them find this totally unfair. But she emphasized that's not the only reason they grow resentment.
なんかその日本の文化が好
Some international students say that they came here
きだとか、日本のこれを
not because of our culture or want to research something about
研
Japan.
究したいんだとかではないところがコスパがいいから来たんだよ。
It's cheap. Dude, what? Dude, what type of foreigners are they? What type of foreigners are coming to Japan thinking that Japan is cheap? Dude, Japan is not fucking cheap. Granted, the yen is a little bit lower than the British pound or the euro or the American dollar, but it's not fucking cheap in any capacity. Even in South Korea, the another first world nation in the East, it's the was it the yuan or something like that? It might be a lot lower than the yen or the euro, but it's still expensive as fuck to live there. Especially if you live in Seoul or some of the big cities like Busan and stuff like that. They're all expensive. So I don't know what these foreigners are talking about. Whoever's saying this shit that it's cheap.
とか、やっぱそういうところが我々には非常に馴染みがないところなので、あんまりいい印象ではなくなってしまうので、コスパがいいって思われている時
Like I said, because some international students came here because it's cheap.
点で、この日本の政
Shows how Japan's
策
policies
ずれてるってことに
are failing Gen Z. Yep. Mm-hmm.
気づかないといけないと思います
The
ね。
government had to better realize
As
it.
you know, nationwidely, foreigner issues became a huge concern this year.
So we are seeing a huge influx of foreign
It's because these stupid ass foreigners, bro, they go there and they basically fuck everything up for I would love to visit Japan. And I've been studying how to conduct myself in Japan and how to be, contort myself. I don't want to be one of those stupid ass foreigners like those fucking influencers that go into Japan and doing dumb shit like dancing on the trains, being loud and obnoxious, and like blocking the pathways, thinking like buying up the fucking houses because it's fucking quote unquote cheap. I don't want to be one of them. And those fuckers are giving people like me and like good foreigners who are just going to go there to immerse yourself in the culture and try the food, try the cuisine, just enjoy the Japanese life without stepping on anybody's toe. They're fucking it up for us. And I fucking hate those type of people, bro. People like us got to start calling them out and saying, yo, bro, cut that shit out. To quit fucking it up. Japan is not your fucking personal playground, all right? And it's also not cheap as fuck to live there either. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
nationals, their presence has grown too big to ignore.
That might be especially true among Gen Z, in a sense that they are the ones who are most affected by social media, where they see those words are constantly associated with foreigners, and constantly watch a clip like this.
治安がいいっていうのがすごい売りなんですよ。これキープするには外国人入れちゃダメです。やっぱり外国人が来ると乱れます。
We actually have no evidence that foreigners cause higher crime rate, statistically speaking. And
Foreigners make Japan less safe. I mean, it really does depend on what type of foreigners you let in, bro. I mean, Japan is known as one of the most safest countries on earth, Hell, you can walk down naked down the fucking street, nothing will happen to you. You can imagine that. I think it was back in the fucking 90s, somebody said that shit in Japan. That's how safe it was, but they're getting certain type of foreigner. I believe some foreigners from third world countries that are going there and just completely just fucking it up for everybody. And I feel for the Japanese. There's some foreigners that are just not good people and that make they'll feel less safe. I feel for them, and they should fucking start saying no to certain people to coming in, or just in general mass people coming in here. They should say no. We don't need any more people to back the fuck up, go away, like go back to where you came. But they should start saying that. I think that most people should start saying that. Hell, in America, we're doing it right now in America, in the United States.
similarly, this is not true either,
But Japan is also a really small country too, so you can't really blame them for that.
at least on nationwide level, because most foreign residents are employed, which means automatically taxes are deducted from their salaries, just like Japanese workers. But many politicians
Yeah, if you're going there and you're respectful and you do what you have to do, you pay your taxes, then I don't see a big problem. But the problem is, for example, you can't take that many. If you have 20 million fucking good foreigners who pay their taxes and stuff like that, that's good, but it's bad also because I don't think Japan can support 20 million people. Their population is 120 million people. Adding another 20 million would be 140 million. How can you possibly sustain that? Hell, we can't sustain that in the United States. How is Japan going to do that?
or candidates perpetuate those rumors, and Gen Z might be heavily affected.
外国の人の文化は違うから、これ以上日本にはやっぱり入れちゃダメって言ってるんですよ。夜うるさい音出すのも違うし、ゴミ出しのルールも違うし、そういう人たちとこの日本で共生するっていうのはやっぱりやめないと。
結構その SNS で政治とか選挙に関心を持
Because of Gen Z, we got interest in politics and the election without a doubt.
つきっかけになったことはこれは間違いない。
Same in the States,
ただ割とデマみたいな
where groundless rumors about foreigners have spread.
ことも実際は全然そんなことないんだけれど
Through rumors are actually
も
false.
外国の方の方が優遇されてるみたいな。
And when I talk to them in a college, I notice they often bring this up, and they argue that this indicates most foreign residents not willing to commit to the country or culture, so likely to break all norms. And maybe that's why I see many of them seem to believe this rumor on social media, with no actual evidence or data backed up.
治安が悪くなってるどうこうっていう、まあちょっとなってる可能性が高いですよね。 向こうの国ではなんか常識だと思うことでも日本では全然常識じゃないじゃないですか。結果的になんかそういうちょっと問題とかも起きるし、全員が全員そういうわけじゃないけど、日本人はなんか優しいし、なんか礼儀正しいし大丈夫だろうみたいな。ちょっとそういうの。
See, that's also a misconception too. A lot of foreigners fucking believe due to the fact that Japanese people are quote unquote nice or another word or passive that they're just gonna allow themselves to get walked all over or to get stepped on and stuff like that. That's another thing as well. Like Japanese people gotta really put their foot down on that type of stereotype. Like not always Japanese people are not always fucking nice or kind. I've seen some Japanese people that will smack the shit out of you for doing some dumb shit. So yeah, tread lightly with that one.
があるから、なんか外国人にはまあ全然ちょっと日本のルールを守ってもらってみたいな。
外国人の方に聞くと、なんかオーバーリアクトしてる。3% ぐらいしかいないのに、騒ぎ立てることじゃないんじゃないかみたいな。
でもなんか東京とかに行ったりすると外国人ばっかかなって感じはします。前にお店で見たのは、なんか店員さんが英語で対応してたんですけど、でもそんなにうまく伝わってなくて、でなんか外国人の方がなんかあんまり英語うまくないみたいな文句を言って。
Okay, I hate that shit too. Nah, bro. If you're in a fucking different country, the least you could do is learn learn their language to communicate. Don't be one of those fucking people. I guarantee you she's referring to an American. I guarantee you she's referring to an American. Why don't you fucking learn how to speak English like we do, all right? Or speak American like us, all right? We're Americans. We speak English. I'm like, bitch, you're in Japan. This is speak Japanese, motherfucker. Or if you go to France, speak French. Don't expect people to fucking speak your language because you don't know how to speak theirs. You're in their country, they're not in yours. Jesus Christ, these people give us such a bad fucking name. And I know she's talking about an American. Because English people, other fucking people that go to Japan don't act like this. They at least try to learn fucking Japanese or whatever language they're going, or whatever language of the country they're going to try to communicate. I guarantee you.
っていうのは聞いたことありました。なんか例えば列に並ばなきゃいけなかった時になんか横入りする、やっぱり日本の文化を知っていく必要があると思います。
I think, in my honest opinion, if you want to go to Japan or another country, at least do research on the culture first, on how they conduct themselves of the country you're about to visit. I think people should honestly do that. If you're not going to do that, then don't even bother going. Because you're just going to step on so many people's toes and they're going to get pissed at you, and then you're going to cause a scene, you're going to make yourself look bad, and as a result you're going to make other people that look like you and whatever country you come from look bad. All right? I think you should do a little research before you start coming to other people's countries and hopefully not fuck shit up over there, you know? That's what I would do. If I ever have the opportunity to go to Japan, I do a lot of I do at least a week of research and see how everything works. I definitely learn how to speak Japanese for the best I possibly can, and let's see what happens. And if I do something stupid, I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with this. You know, but don't go there blind. Don't go over to a country that you don't know blind and not knowing the culture. Don't do that dumb shit.
I see them like promoting Japanese people to learn English and then we should level up, but like I'm even afraid of someday Japanese becoming like a dead language. I don't want that. This is our land. They should definitely adjust to it. They don't have to change who they are. But I think there are certain things, like let's say if they are like playing really loud music.
You have to fucking adjust to where you are. Read the room, bro. You gotta read the room of what's going on. If you see that there are people that don't act a certain way, but you're acting the opposite of what they don't like, then maybe you should, consider acting a little bit, how they're acting, especially if you're in their land. And I guarantee you there's gonna be people like, no, that's fucked up, that's racist, you're da-da-da, that's prejudice, da-da-da, all that bullshit. And it's gonna be like, that you can't save people from themselves, man. There are gonna be people that act stupid.
At night, they should stop it.
Right now, I think there's a very large gap.
Oh, hold on one second. What did she say? Hold on.
If they are like playing really loud music at night, they should stop it.
Right.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Like, for example, I'm sure you guys, if you're from America or the United States, you probably get those fucking dudes at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with their, like, riding in their cars with the music blasting so fucking loud that it shakes the windows. I can tell you right now, even if you come from a good neighborhood or a not so savory neighborhood, there's always people like that blast their fucking music so fucking loud, especially at night. Trust me, I get that all the time. And I hate that shit too. And she's absolutely right. Turn that shit down. Nobody needs to hear the fucking music you're playing.
Now I think there's a very large gap between what foreign residents know, what foreign residents do, and how Japanese society reacts. For example, foreign residents that move to America must speak English. But in Japan, there's this common perception among foreigners that you can move to Japan without speaking Japanese. I think it causes a lot of frustration and misunderstanding among local populations.
For example, in a city I used to live, many people struggle with the language barrier. While foreign residents might be frustrated, the people in Japan can't speak English enough, unlike a nation like Singapore, Korea, or any Western country.
There is a big language barrier. Only few people, like out of 100, 5 people is speaking English. So what I suggest, people have to learn English.
In Japan, the language barrier is more prominent. I mean, Japanese is, I love learning it, but it's so difficult.
I think I got my hiragana right, katakana kinda, kanji impossible.
Some of the cities in Japan are unable to provide.
I tried to learn kanji. Hiragana and katakana was okay, but kanji was so fucking hard, bro. I couldn't learn kanji either. I could speak it a little bit. I could probably me personally, I could probably get around in Japan a little bit, speaking and stuff like that, ordering stuff, asking for directions, but like full in-depth conversations, nah, I'm completely cooked. And when it comes to reading and writing, if it's kanji, I'm fucking cooked as well,
If you want them to speak Japanese, then provide conditions for them. Or if that's really strong, if that's your priority, then make that as a mandatory requirement.
If they want to.
Or you could, in like your native country, just start studying on your own terms, before going to Japan or before going to another country in your country where you reside currently, learn the fucking language before going over there. Stop asking other fucking countries or people to facilitate your like learning for their language in their country. Fucking dumb, bro. Like me personally, I use Rosetta Stone to fucking learn how to speak or at least attempt to speak Japanese. I don't expect to go to Japan and then demand the government, hey, teach me how to speak this language, please, so I can communicate better with you. And on your dime, too. Fucking idiots, bro.
Learn Japanese more, then definitely need to be separate from the community. Only consistent with overseas people, that's a must. But I think that's not what people from outside can force them. It's self-discipline, in my opinion. So it's their responsibility.
Thank you. You have to want it. You have to fucking like sit down and really look at yourself and say, I want to learn this language.
壁っていうのが一番やっぱり大変だっていうのも聞くんですよね。その学校なんかでもそうみたいで、同じ例えば中国語、韓国語、もうその子たちだけで話していて、日本の生徒と交わらない。ちょっとこの言語の壁っていうのは一つだいぶ大きな問題だなと思ってますね。
This might be even bigger issue for some. Tokyo is one of the most popular cities which young people want to live, but I see many of them giving up on.
Yeah, the problem is that most of these foreigners are going to fucking Tokyo, a big metropolitan city, and expect to just they assume that people they're going to be automatically speak English and shit like that. That's not the case. Like he mentioned, not many people speak English at all. Like Korea, I would say South Korea is probably the biggest place where you can go to where there's a lot more fluency in English compared to Japan or China. Maybe if you go to Hong Kong, maybe Hong Kong, but South Korea is the biggest. Japan is like, nah, you gotta learn Japanese, dude.
As the rents got much higher today.
外国人が多くなりすぎてて、ご飯が高いというか2000円とかその外国人向けの価格にされている。そうするとやっぱ暮らしにくいなっていうところでは。やっぱり外国人ファーストになってるなっていうのは正直やっぱりマンションとかが今すごい投資目的で買われてると思うんですけど本来住むべき日本人が今住めていない状況なのでそれは規制していくべきだと
やっぱりこう外国人による土地問題っていうのがすごくホットトピックになったわけですけども SNS の仕掛け
It's kind of like how the Chinese were buying a lot of land here in the United States a little while ago. I'm not sure if they're still doing that now or not, but yeah, it's kind of like that. So foreigners are basically going to Japan and just buying a shit ton of land. So yeah, I think they should probably restrict that. I think it should be Japanese people first and whatever's left over, maybe foreigners can buy. Maybe. But their citizens come first. And that should be in every country.
って言ったらあれなんですけども、なんで日本だけが外国人が土地を買ってしまうのかっていうのは、まあ、おかしな話なので、はい。っていうところですね。外国の方を優先するっていうのは、ちょっと優先順位が違うんじゃないかなと。
今の状況だと、外国人ばっかり優先した結果、治安も悪くなってるし、経済もだし、みたいな感じだから。
Unsurprisingly, I see that.
Oh man, I see the saddest in that boy's eyes. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Go back to saying, yeah, but that's everywhere too, bro. And it's not right. It's absolutely not right. Their own government is putting the interests of foreigners first instead of their own citizens, instead of the future of their young citizens as well, that are the backbone and the future of their country. That's not right either. I mean, a lot of other countries are doing that shit too. The United States, we're doing that. We're putting a lot of benefits and we're putting illegal immigrants first in front of the line and leaving the American citizens in the back burner, like people like me and like other people who were born here through legal means and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's the same thing in Western Europe. It's the same thing. I'm not sure about South Korea, but Western Europe, United States, Canada is exactly like how this boy is describing. They keep putting foreigners first and leaving their own citizens in the back burner.
ばかり優先した結果、治安も悪くなってたし、経済もだしみたいな感じだから。
Unsurprisingly, I see the anti-immigrant sentiment still keep growing even after the voting is done.
Yep. It's the same thing how it's going on in West Europe, bro. If the government is continuously doing this dumb shit and not allowing, putting their citizens in the back burner, there's always going to be a shit ton of ultra right wing, anti-immigrant, anti-whatever that are going to emerge. It is what it is, and I'm not surprised. Well, actually, how are people surprised that something like that would appear and would arise? Because why wouldn't it? You're not giving a shit about their citizens and you're putting the foreigners first. You think that the people wouldn't start the native citizens wouldn't start complaining? Come on.
のためにはならない気もするし、その悪いことをするとかそういうのはちょっと違うと思います。難しい。
What's crazy is that the younger generation is saying this shit. It's typically the opposite. It's typically the older generation that say no, we don't want more immigrants and stuff like that. But you have, like I mentioned before, you have a problem if the younger generation are saying no more immigrants. We don't want any more immigrants here. You have a really deep issue because typically, on average, younger people are typically more liberal compared to the older generation. Like my age and younger, we're supposed to be like very, very liberalistic and very leftist or whatever you want to call it. But if you have kids or these guys who they showed are definitely younger than me. They're probably like in their mid 20s, early 20s, probably even late 20s, and they're saying no to immigration. Yeah, you got an issue. You really got a fucking issue going on.
問題ではあるなっていう。今この年でだから、これから働くみたいな移民の人がいるから職を失ったりするっていう問題としてそれが上がってるっていうのはもちろん認知してますし、受け入れたところでやっぱその文化の違いから衝突が生んでしまうっていうのも規制せざるを得ないのかなとは思いますね。
移民を助けるぐらいだったらなんか日本自分の国だから自分の国民第一にして。
But not put Japanese own citizens first because it's our country. Exactly. Like I mentioned, there's a genetic component when it comes to every country on this planet. America, United States, and Canada used to have that, but we did the native people there dirty, and virtually they almost don't exist. But these people exist. In Japan, the Yamato people are the native people of Japan, and they're being put last. No, fuck that. I mean, no wonder there's so many fucking anti-immigrant groups popping up in Japan. Yeah, when you put the native people in the back burner, yeah, they're gonna get fucking pissed off. And the kid saying this is not even rude about it. Like he's legitimately concerned about what's going on, And I sure as hell wouldn't want this fucking country to go away or just the demographics to completely shift to the different direction. Because let's be honest with ourselves. If I go to Japan, I want to see fucking Japanese people. If I go to France, I want to see French people, ethnically French people. If I go to England, I want to see ethnically English people, aka Anglo-Saxons. If I go to Scotland, I want to see Celtic Scottish people wearing kilts and shit. If I go to Ireland, I want to see Irish people. If I go to Nigeria, I want to see ethnically Nigerian black people. If I go to Kazakhstan, I want to see Kazakhs. If I go to fucking India, I want to see Indians. Depending on what part of India I go to. If I go to Philippines, I want to see Filipinos. All right? I want to see the native people of those lands. I don't want to see a bunch of fucking foreigners pretending to be. Fuck that. I think most people feel that way.
まあ、そうは思います。自分も実際参政党に入れてるんで。今日本って少子化って言って子供が少なくなってるじゃないですか。ちょっと移民を入れすぎても、なんか中継国みたいになって、日本らしさが失われる。
I'm afraid it would be like the US and Japan's charms are gone. What does he mean by we're going to be like us? As in the shit ton of immigration? Because if he means that, then yeah. If he means that we don't have charm or culture, then I don't agree with that. I think we'd rather increase Japanese people. I agree with that too. I think that I agree with that. The birth rates have to go up. I agree with what he's saying too. This guy is a really smart dude.
もっと増やした方がいいと思います。
これだけ例えばちょっとゴミ捨て一つとっても非常に公聴にも寄せられる。
Yep, that's also a culture thing, the way that they take out their trash too. I would definitely learn how to take out my fucking trash properly.
こと多いですし、いろんなちょっと
I'm
問
not
題
sure
が
if they separate the fucking plastics with the fucking regular trash or the metals and stuff like that, or recyclables or something like that. That's something I gotta fucking learn too.
解決してない中で日本だけ緩くしてどんどん受け入れていくっていうのは労働人口不足しているから受け入れるべきだという短絡的な話にはならないかなと思ってます。
I don't see why.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Japanese people or most people in general would definitely work those hard laborious jobs, bro. So they're not gonna fucking pull that shit like, oh no, these jobs, no, the native people don't want these jobs. Bullshit. Yes, they do. Especially in this shitty ass economy, most people will take what they can get at this point.
Purchasing land is a problem. You know, if you talk about everything becoming expensive, I don't think you can blame the immigration for that. But I think that's the mindset that if anything goes wrong, blame the gaijin.
This is not fair.
Japan, I think, is very fortunate because there's hardly illegal immigration as opposed to, you know, a Western country. You know,
I mean, to be fair, there's a reason why there's no illegal immigration is because one, they're just a landmass in the middle of the ocean. It's not like this. It's not like fucking Spain or like Italy or England where you could just like cross like some Gibraltar, like the Strait of something and just get in there. At best, maybe Koreans, but Korea's a first world nation. They're not gonna fucking do that shit. So I don't think it's the same.
if it's legal, they are following the laws if they should be. And if they're not, then the system needs to be strengthened instead of scapegoating.
What I notice among Gen Z through the conversation with them for these 5 months, they often seem mixing them up, which is supposed to be completely separated. They also seem to believe whatever social media tells them, and perhaps because they have almost no interaction with actual foreigners.
Yeah, that's also a problem too. I actually agree with that. Like a lot, they're kind of falling in the same trope as some of the younger people here in the States, as in being influenced by, I'm not sure if they have TikTok in Japan and stuff like that, or like whatever social media they use in Japan. They're basically getting a lot of, not always, but sometimes a lot of misinformation when it comes to like people who don't look like them or people who are different from them, you know? And I agree what he said. Like they might have no interaction with actual foreigners. And I think maybe they should step out of their comfort zone and, you know, maybe interact with one or talk with a nice, respectable foreigner. You know what I mean? And try not to fuck around and go with a neckbeard, bro, because those guys are fucking weirdos, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Those guys are fucking weird.
And those are clearly more prominent in my eyes, at least compared to my generation. Actually, elderly people might be much more comfortable with them, as they actually see many foreigners contribute to the society. And that's something Gen Z couldn't see. So makes sense I find many of them don't even acknowledge it, but rather only see the privileged parts.
日本人からですか？
どう感じますか、日本人としては。
今結構びっくりしましたね。日本人の人でも海外
There are Japanese people who discriminate against foreigners.
の人差別する人いるんだなって。割と差別
I thought we were the ones who would be discriminated against more.
される側の方かなと。意外とその海外の方したりするんだなってちょっと今
Discriminate against foreigners even exists.
驚きはありますね。
Ooh, I guess this guy's a little bit misinformed. Yeah, I'm glad that this guy. Okay, so yeah, these guys are getting misinformation about, but apparently he thought that foreigners are discriminating against Japanese people. It's actually the opposite. I'm glad that he's seeing like, oh wow, I had no idea that this was happening. I'm glad he's not throwing a bitch fit like some people here in the States.
外国の方が犯罪を犯したってなるとやっぱりその日本人は怖いなと思ってしまうし、犯罪をする加害者側ではなくって被害者側になることもやっぱり私もいくつか聞くんですよね。
Because I learned English and had a lot of conversation, interaction with people of different countries, I got to actually realize without it, like I didn't even know it.
It's difficult to know that unless you actually talk to them.
And then I also want to say to Japanese speakers.
To be fair, bro, when you go to a country that's incredibly homogenous, expect to get some type of discrimination. You know, Japan is 97% Yamato, which are that's what the ethnic Japanese people are in today's day and age. I don't expect to have some type of discrimination, especially if you're not of Northeast Asian origin. You could probably get away with it if you're like Manchu Chinese or like South Korean, maybe. But if you're like a foreigner that don't look Northeast Asian, you're probably going to get some discrimination. But that's everywhere you go, though, in the world. If you go to fucking Germany and you're not German, yeah, you're gonna get some. You're gonna get some looks. It is what it is. You go to Spain, you don't look like one of them. You're gonna get some looks. If you go to Nigeria or sub-Saharan African country and you're fucking like white or like some fair skin or like not black, you're gonna get some looks. It is what it is, bro. As long as they don't fucking beat your ass in the street and tell you to go fuck yourself or just do some horrible heinous shit and treat you with respect and you treat them with respect, you should be okay for the most part.
People that we don't have to shrink either. If there's anything that's bothering us, we should say it. And then we should communicate. Yeah, it's communication.
例えば悪いことやってても、なんか、あんま関わらないようにしようみたいな考え方をしちゃったりとか、そもそもその間違ってるってことに気づいてないのに教えてあげないとか。 そういうのがあると思います。
So like a lot of people in Tokyo right now thinks that 外国人周りのことを考えないみたいなのがあるんですけど We don't know what is right and what is wrong. I want them to be honest with me, but they're just gonna like hide their feelings. Maybe that's one point that I hate about Japanese people. They're gonna just like tell me what is wrong about me, but they just hide it.
はいはい、そうですよね。まあでも、ちょっと言いにくいですね。すいません、難しいですね。すいません。
People from overseas directly told me that
I have noticed that about Japanese people. They keep a lot of their feelings inside, and they're not very extroverted when it comes to their feelings. Yeah, even other Japanese people kind of hate that about Japanese people too. They act kind of like the stereotypical man, like you keep your fucking feelings inside. You don't share that shit with nobody. You be a man type of shit.
they actually have a trauma with Japanese people because even though we try to act happy or smile to them, what we think inside is quite different.
A lot of times that a lot of people might think that I might be a 外国人 They might be overreacting to that. 普通にも日本語で接して接客して like in a usual way.
やっぱり私も全然留学生と関わってないし、少ないなと思います。関わりがないせいでイメージをつけてしまうというか、やっぱり日本って日本人っていうその単一民族国家
There's a homogenous nation where most people are Japanese.
って言ったらあれですけど、やっぱり日本人は日本人であって、外の人外の人っていうその意識が強いのかな。
I think it will be better.
I think it'd be very difficult to make the distinction if there are other Northeast Asians too. Like I mentioned before, well, I didn't mention this part. The closest people genetically to the modern day Japanese people are South Korea or Koreans in general, or Chinese people from Manchuria, like the far northeast of China, where it borders from North Korea. Those are the closest genetically. I think those people would definitely have a lot better time blending in Japan if they like speak the language and stuff like that. Yeah, they would have a lot better time blending in. But I also heard that there's a lot of discrimination against them too, against South Koreans and certain Chinese people. You know, but again, they have a lot better time integrating in their societies because honestly, they look like them. Let's be real. They're Northeast Asian. Genetically, they look like them. Same thing like with I'll give you another example. If let's say Sweden, for example, I think the best people who can integrate a lot easier in Sweden would be like that aren't ethnic Swedes would be like Norwegians and Danes, obviously. Germans, especially if you come from like the northern German area, like the Schleswig-Holstein region, definitely can integrate a lot easier in Sweden. And maybe Dutch people can probably integrate easier in Sweden. Maybe even some English people too, because let's be honest, they look like them. And also they're very genetically similar for the most part. They're not totally genetically similar, but they look like them. You know, it's a lot harder for people who come from like different parts of the world. Like it's like for example, what's going on right now in like these Western countries with the integration stuff like that. But yeah, it's a lot easier to integrate to a country that looks like you than not.
If we actually have a conversation with foreign people, like talk like face to face with actual foreigners.
It took time for me also to coexist with non-Japanese people. What I would say for both of them, let's say, is like just be open-minded.
Dude, I would love to go to Japan and see an actual sumo wrestling match, bro. I would love to fucking see this.
We should definitely be able to have flat relationship with anyone from the world, not fear anyone or look down anyone, but just talk at this like same level. I think not a lot of people have that here. I used to not have that in the past. So
living here long enough, until I lived in India, I did not know what loneliness is. We're meant to live in communities. We're meant to talk to each other. We're meant to be together. You cannot just shut the doors on them and say,
yeah, bro. I mean, in Japan, there is a very lonely epidemic in Japan. What's going on right now? A lot of hikikomoris exist in Japan, and the numbers have risen exponentially. You know, that's probably one of the contributing factors of why they have a low birth rate. And I hope they fix that in the future, bro.
oh, well, now you're on your own. Go figure.
なんで日本人である我々日本国民を優遇しないんだ。日本人を最優先にする。これはもちろん日本国民として当たり前のことではありつつも、だからといって日本人だけで生きていけるっていう時代でももちろんないですし、お互いが努力を欠かさないっていうことが非常に重要かなと思いますね。
I think that's true to some extent. I don't agree with changing the demographics though. I hope that never happens, but I do believe in cohesion and yeah, a peaceful cohesion. That's what I do believe, but I don't believe in changing up the demographics of a country because of external factors or internal factors for that matter. So yeah, that's my take on it. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. Hopefully I didn't sound like a fucking spastic. I like this video a lot. Thank you again to Japan Reporter. Good ass fucking video.